Hello, guys. So, welcome to Aristotle on Wisdom and Philosophy, right? So this is from the Metaphysics by Aristotle. Just to let you know. So, Aristotle begins in Book Alpha by saying that all men by nature desire to know, and this is evident in the pleasure we take of the senses, right? And so Aristotle views wisdom as the highest kind of science and the most fundamental goal of philosophy. And according to Aristotle, it is the search for the most basic causes and principles of the world. This is contrasted with more practical knowledge or technical skills that deal with particular instances or actions, right? So when he says it is the search for the most basic causes, he just doesn't mean temporal cause, like this ball caused that ball to move. But actually, in the metaphysics, he introduces four types of causes: the formal cause, the efficient cause, the material cause, and the final cause. In which all of these constitute knowledge, right? We need to know the essence of a thing. We need to know what it's made of. We need to know what brought it into existence. And we need to know the teleology or purpose or end for that thing, right? So these four causes, they undergird entities and knowledge. And so wisdom for Aristotle is again a special kind of science because it is concerned with the most general and universal causes and principles. Wisdom, you can also define wisdom as knowledge of things that do not change, right? Wisdom is valuable because it deals with these fundamental truths, unlike particular knowledge, which is more practical or useful, but less profound, right? So wisdom is, considered more valuable because it tells us the why or the causes of things, whereas experience or skill only deals with the specific occurrences or conditions. And so in the metaphysics, he's equating philosophy with theology and wisdom. There's sometimes he comes close, and then sometimes he just does it, right? And so philosophy to him is supremely useless. Now that's not entirely a bad thing, even though it sounds negative, but he means that in the sense that it does not provide like practical benefits in your life, right? Or make one better at specific tasks. Like maybe philosophy won't bring you money. Sorry for all you people that are in college doing philosophy majors. I mean, I'm still proud of you, right? But Aristotle says that it's practically useless, bro. And so he says instead, its value lies in its intrinsic nature and the elevation it offers the philosopher through the search for universal truths. You know, philosophers seek knowledge as an end in itself. They're seeking knowledge for the sake of it, right? They're not doing it for something else like money, a degree, or just trying to like. They're not even doing it to impress people. So philosophers are distinguished from others by their ability to teach what they know, and the ability to teach philosophy is essential because it shows the deeper understanding of the causes and principles. And experience is a form of knowledge that is grounded in specific instances, while skill or art involves a more general and universal understanding of the causes behind those instances. For example, a doctor with experience knows what medicines work for particular individuals, but a skilled doctor understands the universal principles or causes that explain why certain treatments work. The experienced person may be successful in, specific task, but they lack the theoretical understanding of the causes. And in Aristotle's metaphysics too, he also what's it called? He distinguishes between the philosopher and the sophist. While the sophist does do philosophy, they do not have the same understanding as a philosopher. The philosopher has the deepest understanding according to Aristotle, right? Sophists don't. They appear to be doing philosophy, but really deep down they really don't understand at that fundamental level. And so in contrast, the skilled person understands the causes behind the success and thus possesses a deeper level of knowledge. And the distinction between practical knowledge and theoretical knowledge is emphasized a lot because those who understand the why and the how the causes are seen as wiser and more knowledgeable than those who only know the that or the specific instances. Theoretical knowledge or knowledge of causes is more prestigious because it is universal, whereas experience is just limited to particular situations. Philosophy, in Aristotle's view, has a very special relationship with divinity. And Aristotle says contemplation is the highest activity. And Aristotle says our purpose is to be in contemplation, because that's why, and he even says this in the metaphysics. He says that we have a godlike intellect, right? Now that's beautiful. And so Aristotle says philosophy is not only a search for truths, but also an ennobling practice. It is through philosophy that humans come closest to a divine state, as philosophy helps individuals nourish and elevate their fragment of the divine nature. Right? Then again, Aristotle does say we have a divine intellect, or a godlike intellect. And Aristotle says that philosophy begins in wonder, and this wonder prompts humans to search for underlying causes and principles. Right? Philosophy does begin in wonder. I believe, I think it was Socrates in the Theaetetus that also says this, that philosophy does begin in wonder. But Aristotle claims that teaching is a key indicator of true philosophical progress. A philosopher who doesn't teach, he contradicts the very purpose of philosophy. If you do not teach, then you're not a philosopher. Because teaching others what one has learned is essential to demonstrating genuine wisdom. And wisdom is not just knowledge, but the knowledge of causes. The wise person knows why things are as they are. In this way, designers who understand the causes behind their creations are seen as wiser than craftsmen who only possess practical experience. Excuse me. And so philosophy is considered the free science because it is pursued for its own sake and not for practical use like money or something, right? And Aristotle compares this pursuit to that of a free person who seeks knowledge for personal fulfillment rather than for the benefit of others. And if you read Plato's Theaetetus, or Theaetetus, however you would like to pronounce it, Socrates in the Theaetetus, I believe, if I remember the exact dialogue, he says that what he distinguishes between a philosopher and a lawyer, right? Socrates says that a lawyer has obligations, right? And the lawyer's arguments are not really poised to, or purported towards truth. In contrast to the philosopher is free, and he is pursuing philosophy in the pursuit of truth. Now that's a beautiful distinction, right? And note that Aristotle did not know the word metaphysics, though in Book Gamma we are provided a definition, notably as the study of being qua being, or being as being, or existence as existence, right? Being in its own right, basically. Distinct from departmental sciences that study specific aspects of being. So Aristotle has first philosophy, right, the study of causes and first principles, which is wisdom, theology, or metaphysics. And we have second sciences like physics and mathematics. And Aristotle says philosophy and metaphysics, or science of being, or science of existence, you might call it, must deal with universal principles or axioms like the PNC, or principle of non-contradiction. But you can also say the law of non-contradiction if you prefer, which is just, that. And so LNC, by the way, is just law of non-contradiction. The study of being qua being focuses on understanding both primary and secondary substances. Now, in the metaphysics, it's kind of troubling to read because it feels like Aristotle is being very inconsistent, because if you read his categories, he says that, well, the fundamental substances or primary substance is individuals, basically like a man, a horse, right, animals. He says these are the most fundamental substances, and that every other category or category of being depends on those substances for their existence, right? Substance is basically Aristotle's most fundamental ontology. It has the most fundamental ontology, right? And in the metaphysics, we see a big shift, which is problematic because, scholars, argue so much whether Aristotle was being inconsistent or not. But people would defend Aristotle sometimes saying, well, his definition of, like species, or because he does equate species and forms in the metaphysics, which seems kind of inconsistent because we see him critiquing, critiquing Plato, but at the same time, this big shift kind of aligns him towards more Platonic views. So, and also fun fact, if you see the School of Athens painting, the reason why Plato is pointing up is because Plato is focusing on another realm where, these universals or forms are in a different realm separated from us. While Aristotle is a particularist, and he says, whoa, we need to look around the things. We need to look for the things around us, right? And that's what Aristotle is essentially doing. And I will make a video on Aristotle, on his substance and his theory of hylomorphism, which is very complex, and it's going to be challenging because Aristotle is very inconsistent, I believe personally, right? But either way, we're going to do that soon. So where was we? Oh, so the study of being qua being focuses on the understanding of both primary and secondary substances. And this differs from specialized sciences, which study limited parts of being and deal with accidental features of substances. Like mathematics studies abstract structures. Oh, I forgot to finish off here, but they don't study being in general or existence in general, right? Mathematics, whenever you do mathematics, like you do Euclidean geometry, you do arithmetic, you do calculus or whatever. Note that these branch of mathematics and physics, they depend on these logical principles, such as the law of identity, A equals A, the law of non-contradiction, and the law of excluded middle. And you can see Euclid's 5 postulates, right? These axioms basically are, Aristotle says, the realm of metaphysics is what studies these principles, right? And we also see, well, this is a little bit more advanced, but Gödel's incompleteness theorem, if you guys look at it, Gödel's incompleteness theorem just really shows that a mathematical system can't really justify itself without appealing to a set or appealing to something outside of it to justify that mathematical system. That's really interesting because in the metaphysics, if you watch my video, Aristotle provides a defense for the law of non-contradiction through what he calls the elenchus, which is a Socratic method, or you can call it elenctic refutation. And he says and it's kind of like a reductio transcendental argument. And he says, in order for you to even deny the law of non-contradiction, you would have to use it, which is a contradiction in terms of your own view. And he provides us a refutation of monism, Heraclitus, that's how I pronounce it sometimes, and what's it called, Parmenides, and relativism. And so again, first philosophy is the study of being qua being, or being as being, and it is concerned with understanding the causes and principles of existence. First philosophy is not the same as other, departmental sciences, as it seeks to understand the nature of being or existence in its most general form, not just a specific part of reality. So then again, second philosophy is concerned with secondary substances and more tangible, empirical aspects of reality, like physics. Physics studies substances in motion. And ultimately, philosophy's task is to investigate the fundamental causes and principles of substance and existence, or being, including the opposites and categories derived from them. Other disciplines may study particular aspects, but philosophy encompasses the entire scope of existence, or being, and offering a comprehensive understanding of its nature and underlying principles. The pursuit of knowledge about being, unity, and opposites is unique to philosophy. It's what sets it apart from other fields like mathematics or dialectic. There must be a single science that deals with all things as they are, especially concerning substances. This science, which concerns being qua being, addresses not only substances themselves, but also their properties, such as unity, plurality, and other opposites. For example, same, other, unequal, etc. It studies substances, their causes, and their principles. And Aristotle links philosophy to the divine, right? We can see this because theology studies things that are eternal and do not change. As you can see in Book Lambda, Aristotle's theology is very unique. And so the philosopher must also study the fundamental principles of demonstration, like, again, such as the principle of non-contradiction, which says that it is impossible for the same thing to both have and not have the same property at the same time, which forms the foundation of all reasoning and logical analysis. It is the necessary precondition for the possibility of, having knowledge, having a conversation, anything basically, anything basically, right? You can't even debate without it. It's a precondition for a debate. That's what Aristotle says in the Metaphysics. Mathematical axioms, such as those used in geometry or arithmetic, apply to all things that are. These axioms do not belong to a particular scientific discipline, but are foundational to the study of existence itself, or being. Thus, philosophy is the highest science, as it encompasses both the study of substance and the axioms of mathematics. Remember again, philosophy is the highest science, and I know I sound like what how do I say it? Sounds like I'm completely obsessed with this, but this is very important, right? And math is important, but it doesn't constitute a separate science from philosophy because mathematical axioms apply to all things, but but philosophy is the science that integrates these axioms within a more general or broader study of being or existence. Similarly, while natural science is concerned with nature as a part of being, philosophy is concerned with the whole of it, including the natural world, right? It asks questions like, how do you know that we're not just like a brain in a vat? How do we know that our phenomena, the sense data that we receive, matches up to the external world? These these are metaphysical questions, by the way. I'm sorry, metaphysical but epistemological at the same time, right? Because the branches of philosophy are intertwined with each other. You have to presuppose, right? Let's say that metaphysics weren't intertwined in knowledge. Then what is the knowledge in the sentence, right? And so math works with abstract things, yes, but they don't study substance as a whole or being qua being. The study of being qua being is only for philosophy or metaphysics. That is why philosophy or metaphysics is very unique. So once again, thanks philosophy. I found this meme off online. I saw it, but anyways, look, you got our boy Aristotle smiling. But thank you guys for watching. Appreciate it.